Call the meeting to order. Do we have any citizens of public comments? Hearing none. Welcome, everybody. Consideration of approval of the minutes of the June 26th and July 3 meetings.
We can do the agenda first? Or?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I would certainly move to approve the agenda.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Clerk, call the roll.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Okay, the agenda is approved as submitted. Consideration of approval of the minutes of the June 26th and
I'm a little late, but
July 3 meetings.
I'm a little late, but I would move to approve that.
Second.
Clerk, call the roll.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Okay, the minutes of the June 26th and July 3 meetings are approved. Consideration of approval of the consent calendar. Any questions?
So move.
Second.
Clerk, call the roll.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Consent calendar is approved as submitted. Mayor waives any further input. Public hearing on First Avenue Sidewalk Extension Project. Open the hearing. We have an affidavit of publication.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any written comments or objections?
None, Your Honor.
Any oral comments or objections?
I'd move to close the hearing.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
The hearing is closed. Consideration of Resolution 69-17, approving final plans. Discussion.
Yes, the council approved the preliminary plans and specifications for this project at the June 19th meeting. Now, the 2017 First Avenue Sidewalk Extension Project will include the construction of approximately 1,100 lineal feet of 5-foot wide PCC sidewalk. The project will also require some removal and replacement of sections of driveways so that new sidewalks can be placed in the driveways, as well as grading and reseeding any disturbed areas. Now, there were two addendums that were issued during the bidding process. The first addendum provided additional direction to the contractor based on information that we received from property owners along the project. And the second addendum delayed the completion date due to the existing workload of the area concrete contractors and the lack of interest that we were receiving from bidders. So aside from these two addendums, the final construction documents essentially match the previously approved preliminary plans and specifications. So I'd recommend approval of Resolution 69-17, approving the final plans and specifications for this project.
Any further discussion?
Just had a curiosity question. Why do we have to go in and tear up a perfectly good driveway to put a stretch of sidewalk through it?
Well, because even though there are some that have a sidewalk section in them, there are some that have there's trippers, they're uneven and not at the right slope. So in order to meet the ADA requirements, as well as we're putting in a brand new sidewalk, and then to have like a section of old concrete that really doesn't match what it should, we just felt it was better to
I'm just curious. I mean, if it's good, decent, not broken up cement, I'm just curious why we'd go in and tear it up just to stick something in there to call it a sidewalk. But that's just me.
it's really to meet the slope requirements, the cross slope requirements.
Further discussion?
I'd so move.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Malero.
Who?
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Okay, the motion is approved. Consideration of Resolution 70-17, awarding contract and authorizing mayor and city clerk to execute. Discussion.
Yes, bids were open last Thursday, July 13th, and we did receive 4 bids. The bids received were first from, the low bidder was DuBose Concrete from Charles City. They were at $48,130. Second bidder was Knowles Custom Concrete out of Orchard, Iowa. They were at $48,600. Third bidder, Buildings and Grounds out of West Union. They're at $55,325, and the high bidder was King Construction out of Clear Lake. They were just a little over $63,300. Now, the cost opinion for the project was $57,000. And DuBose Concrete, they're a local contractor, and we've done many projects with them. Also, I want to note, too, that since we have a 5th Monday this month, and so we're losing a month, generally what we do is we're losing a week. Generally, we receive the contracts and bonds, bring those back for council approval, but in order to keep this project moving, this resolution is also going to authorize, we're asking I'll send out contracts and bonds tomorrow, get those back, and the mayor and clerk will be able to sign those, and Matt DuBose will be able to start the project right away that way. So I'd recommend approval of Resolution 70-17, awarding the bid to DuBose Concrete.
Further discussion?
DuBose did a good job on that Clark Street sidewalk, right?
He did, thanks.
I'd so move.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Star.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Resolution 70-17 is approved. Consideration of Resolution 71-17, approving bank depository. Discussion.
We went out for bids from the local banks. We sent out requests to all of them. We received 3 back. The best one was with CUSB. Their interest rate, as of right now, with the current information, it's so many basis points above. They're at 1.65%. First Citizens was 1.05, and First Security was 1.31. Everything else was the same. They don't charge for return checks or any of those other services, anything like that. We are currently with CUSB. They are very, very good to work with, so we are recommending staying with them. And we do this for a 3-year time frame, so this would be for the next 3 years.
Further discussion?
I'd so move.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Star.
Aye.
Okay. Resolution 71-17 is approved. Consideration of third reading of ordinance 1105, providing for the division of taxes levied on taxable property in the June 2017 South Grand Urban Renewal Area Addition pursuant to Section 403.19 of the Code of Iowa. Discussion.
This is the third and final reading for the area of the South Grand Urban Renewal Area that we are amending into the plan. Currently, the South Grand Urban Renewal includes area basically on South Grand from the Charlie Western Trail out to the highway, the Avenue of the Saints. We're adding additional property that runs approximately 2 blocks off each side from that Charlie Western Trail north on South Grand up to Brandingham Bridge. This will basically include all the commercial property on either side of the avenue there, so that as future projects come along that might need urban renewal assistance, that area of the commercial corridor will be included within that. So this was reviewed by Planning and Zoning. They gave it a thumbs up as far as adding this into the plan. So we recommend the third and final reading of this ordinance.
Further discussion.
Have you had any comments from anyone, Steve, or has anybody on the council received any comments?
I have.
Good, bad, or otherwise?
No, I'm not.
I have not heard either way. I just through planning and zoning, positive comments, and
Mhm.
generally speaking, those that we've talked to about it have been received it positive, so just provides another avenue for city to be able to do things if we need to. So,
Right, right. I mean, I think it's a good thing. I just didn't know if anyone had voiced a
no concerns.
differing opinion.
I'd so move for the third reading.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr. Yeager.
Aye.
Okay, the third reading is approved, and we'll have the third reading.
Ordinance number 1105, an ordinance providing for the division of taxes levied on taxable property in the June 2017 South Grand Urban Renewal Area Edition pursuant to Section 403.19 of the Code of Iowa.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt and publish?
So move.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Okay, the ordinance will be considered adopted and will be published. Consideration of the second reading of ordinance 1107, amending section 23, advising and signs of the Charles City zoning ordinance by amending section D2, definitions, and by adding a new subsection to provide a definition for blade sign, and by amending section F.12 parens A and parens C by adding a new subsection to permit and regulate the use of blade signs and projecting signs. Discussion.
Well, currently in the B2 zoning districts, only signs that are flush against the building are allowed. Projecting signs, those signs that stick out perpendicular from buildings are not allowed. And we've had requests for those. So we've been meeting. We met with Mark Wicks and the Downtown Review Committee. They met several times. They gathered different guidelines and requirements from other cities and crafted, based on those, crafted our own set of standards. And Brad drafted an ordinance outlining these standards. And basically these signs, it's limited to one per building. Projecting signs shall be at least 8 feet above the ground, and they can't project any farther than 4 feet from the building face. And they can't extend above the roof line of the building, and they can either be illuminated internally or they can have external illumination. Now, the Planning and Zoning held a public hearing on the proposed ordinance on June 28th, and they voted 4-1 to recommend this ordinance to the City Council. The first reading was approved at the last council meeting, so I'd recommend approval of the second reading of this ordinance.
Discussion.
Again, have you had any comments from anyone as far as
No comments.
around town or anything like
No.
that? Okay. I'd so move.
Second.
Clerk, call the roll.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
The second reading is approved, and we'll have the second reading.
Ordinance number 1107, an ordinance amending section 23, advertising and signs of the Charles City zoning ordinance by amending subsection D.2, definitions by adding a new subsection to provide a definition for blade sign, and by amending subsections F.12A and C by adding a new subsection to permit and regulate the use of blade signs and projecting signs.
Thank you. Consideration of Resolution 72-17 approving facade application for 700 Riverside Drive. Discussion.
Well, at our last planning workshop, we received a application for a facade improvement for Joel Hull at 700 Riverside Drive, the new Hot Shots. And we reviewed the application. We had some questions about what is and isn't included in facade, and I think we had Mark come back with a new application that kind of clarified what was and isn't eligible, which you can see in your packet there. That's the things that have been deemed eligible are highlighted, and ones that are not are crossed off. So we have a total eligibility project cost of $23,718.53. Up to 50% of that would be eligible. So that would be our $10,000 max would then qualify. And so that is what has been applied for and is up for consideration tonight. If that council has any additional questions, I know Mark and Joe are here to answer any questions you may have.
Discussion, further discussion.
I'd so move.
Second.
Clerk, call the roll.
Star.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Resolution 72-17 is approved.
Good luck, Joe.
Congratulations. Good luck.
Good luck.
Consideration of Resolution 73-17 awarding bid for 2017 courthouse parking lot retaining wall repair project and authorizing mayor and city clerk to execute contract. Discussion.
Well, this project is located, this is the boulder retaining wall located between the courthouse parking lot and the river, and between Main Street Bridge and the dam. Now, during last fall's flood event, we had some soil around the boulders get washed out, leaving some void areas. So we need to go in, fill these void areas up. This work was included in some of the disaster work order items that we submitted to FEMA, so it will be partially funded by FEMA. And what we'll how we'll correct this is by pumping high slump concrete or slurry into these void areas, filling all the void areas, and this will also armor this area against future flooding. And we will use basically the same process that we did in 2015 when we had some of the same damage on other portions. Now, last Thursday we opened bids, and we did receive 4 bids on this project. Low bidder was DuBose Concrete. His low bid was $7,388. There was a bid from Burr Oak Springs Construction out of Ridgeway at almost $9,000. Notes Custom Concrete out of Orchard submitted a bid of $9,875. And Building and Grounds LLC out of West Union, they submitted a high bid of $19,250. Now, the cost opinion on the project was $12,000. Again, DuBose Concrete, they're a local contractor, and we've been able to complete many jobs with them. This project is just like the last project. We'd ask the resolution also include the approval of the mayor and clerk to execute the construction contracts when we get those back, so we can move ahead right away. So I'd recommend approval of Resolution 7317, awarding the bid to DuBose Concrete.
Discussion?
So the area affected in 2015, was that affected this time as well, or is it just the stuff around it?
No, actually, that came through very, very good. Yeah.
So are there areas that we're not addressing that we should be, because those are going to be in the next flood event? I mean, it's kind of a clean up as it goes situation, but are we just kind of hitting it afterwards, or is there much more to move?
No, we'll take care of what took what was damaged, and the rest of the area is really held together pretty well with vegetation that was planted originally, and it's maintained itself. And then otherwise, we're up quite a little bit higher up,
okay.
We're next to the sidewalk.
I would so move, Your Honor.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Star.
Aye.
Resolution 73-17 is approved. Consideration of Resolution 74-17, approving temporary construction easements for First Avenue Sidewalk Extension Project. Discussion.
Well, this is a part of the First Avenue Sidewalk Extension Project, and what the city needs to do is acquire temporary construction easements from each property owner abutting the project. This will allow our contractor to get in to put in the sidewalk, do any grading that's necessary, as well as to remove and replace the driveways that are needed. Now, there are a total of 11 easements needed for the project, and this resolution is accepting 10 of those easements. We still do not have one easement back, and that's from the Lucille Williamson property. This property is in an estate, and the two property owners actually live out of state. So I've spoken to Mr. Dwayne Williamson. He's aware of the project, and he's in favor. I mean, he's willing to grant the easement. We just have to go through the process by mail of mailing the easement agreement around to getting it all signed, and they'll come back to us, and they'll be on a future agenda. So I'd recommend approval of Resolution 74-17, authorizing the mayor to sign the temporary easement agreements on behalf of the city.
John, how many trees will be removed on this?
I think there's 5 that have to come out.
Well, I've gotten word there'll be millions of trees removed, but
It's either
that's not accountable.
it's either 5 or 6.
Yeah, that's fine.
Looks like 6 on the picture you provided. That's
As far as funding for this, John, where's that coming from? I meant to ask that earlier, and I forgot to.
We're doing a split between road use tax and capital project funding.
Okay.
Doing it 50/50.
I knew we talked about it in the work session, but we hadn't talked about it here tonight, so
Yeah.
thank you.
There should be one less tree, because we did lose a big one during the windstorm here about a month or so.
Well, will this be done before school starts?
I know I talked to Matt DeBose. He would like to get started right away. It does have a completion date of September 21st. That was by addendum, and like I mentioned before, we weren't getting any interest, and I think it really did help to extend it out, because we ended up getting 4 bids.
Close.
I would so move, Your Honor.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Star.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Resolution 74-17 is approved. Consideration of Resolution 75-17 to enter into HUD class action lawsuit. Discussion.
Heidi Nielsen, the city's housing director. Just a quick kind of background for the lawsuit. In 2012, Congress and HUD imposed an offset on our operating subsidy, and basically we didn't get any funding for that calendar year. And recently, the United States Court of Federal Claims held that the operating reserves offset that was proposed and taken by HUD, that was a breach of our annual contributions contract. And in this lawsuit, there were 309 Housing Authority plaintiffs that were awarded over $135 million. FADA and NARO are the 2 professional organizations that are kind of spearheading this new lawsuit. And so basically what we are asking for is approval from the city to go ahead and participate in the new lawsuit in hopes of being able to recover some of the funds that were offset. And in addition, we're also asking for $1,000 in financial assistance from the city We're not allowed to use any of our HUD funds or any federal funds to take part in the lawsuit, and so that kind of eliminates us, and that's why we didn't participate in the first lawsuit, is we don't have any funds that are non-HUD. And when we had gotten the letter to participate a second time, I thought it would just be worth a shot to see if, you know, that the city would be willing to help kind of finance that for us.
And this is basically, the city has to put in the $1,000 to be able to
$1,000 for the
participate.
cost,
But
yeah.
we don't get that back at any point in the future either, because it's
No,
federal money that we
Because it's
can't.
always going to be federal money, so it'll be something that, you know, if we are awarded or not awarded, the city is still out that $1,000. And then I also wanted to add, too, that the Housing Board did meet and discuss this, and they also approved, and I recommended that the city possibly participate in this.
So, basically, we, the city, is putting in $1,000 to proceed with this.
Mhm.
So we, the federal government, is suing the federal government for $167,000 to move it from one pocket to the other pocket, so
Oh.
we, the city, gets the benefit of it.
Well, it's not, the lawsuit is actually not being brought by the federal government. It's being brought by FADA and NARO, and they're two professional organizations that we work with. They lobby with us and represent us, you know, to Congress.
Right pocket, left pocket, I move.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
We'll just pay for that out of general fund revenue. Nice, so, fine.
Clerk will call roll.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Resolution 75-17 is approved. Consideration of Resolution 76-17, approving preliminary plans and setting public hearing for 2017 Glenwood Road Drainage Project. Discussion.
Well, this resolution approves the preliminary plans and specifications for the Glenwood Road Drainage Project. It also sets August 17th at 2 p.m. as the bid date, and August 21st as the date for the public hearing on the plans and specifications. And we discussed this project at the June 26th planning session. There's a concrete box culvert that flows underneath underneath Glenwood Road between Crestview Lane and Hillside Drive, and there's been significant erosion there on the downstream at the downstream end of the culvert of the channel bottom, as well as the stream banks. And it's also there's also a storm sewer that discharges directly there into the concrete box culvert right there at the discharge point of the box opening. Now, the project will consist of the installation of gabion baskets along the westerly stream bank and some revetment stone or riprap. Now, the gabions, if you remember from the planning session, the gabions are basically rectangular cages, galvanized steel cages that are filled with rocks, and they're stacked together, tied together to form a wall. And this wall will basically return the westerly stream bank to its pre-erosion condition. The revetment stone will be put in the bottom of the channel as well as along the easterly stream bank, and its role will be to slow down and dissipate the energy from the water, and that will stop the erosion, the process that's taking place there. Now, this project will take care of the immediate need of the area, which is the erosion, and we can also look separately at an overall watershed project to take a look at how we can address the quantity of runoff that's going through this watershed and this channel, which we discussed at our planning session. So I'd recommend approval of Resolution 76-17, setting the letting and hearing dates and authorizing the city clerk to publish the public notice.
Discussion or questions?
What's the estimated cost of this project, John?
Sorry, I don't have that offhand.
Okay. How are we going to fund?
Storm sewer.
Be all out of storm
Yeah.
sewer? Okay.
I would so move, Your Honor.
Second.
Any further discussion? Clerk will call the roll.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Resolution 76-17 is approved. We have a gentleman who's here and came in a little late. Did you have anything that you...
I don't have anything. I was just, I'm the owner of Casa Apartments Complex on Clark Street, former Highland Terrace, and I was invited to this meeting by Thomas Nelson, so I decided I'll stop by.
Thomas Nelson?
I just mentioned that.
Reporter. Yeah, sounds good.
Are you here just to listen?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Consideration of a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Iowa Code Chapter 21.5(1) to perform evaluation of city administrator and city clerk. Discussion.
And I officially make requests that, on behalf of Trudy and myself, that we request closed session.
We have special matters involving evaluation of
See you tomorrow.
staff.
I would so
So
move.
move. Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Okay, we'll go into closed session. How would we like to do this in terms of order?
Doesn't matter to me.